Alright guys, so in the last video we learned how to use the select statement to extract information from a table in a database. Today we want to take it a bit further and see how we can do certain common functions or basic functions also with the select statement. Okay, so for instance, you can do what we call aliasing. You can give a different name to a variable based on what you desire or what you want. So this was the table we used in the last video, which we've extracted from the table: employee key, first name, last name, and so on and so forth. So if I want to rename last name, maybe I want to rename it to surname. Meanwhile, just for your consumption, when you put your cursor over a variable name, if all is good, it's going to show you the variable data type nvarchar, and if it allows for none. Okay, for example, primary key in this table, the employee key is a primary key pk. It accepts integers, and of course, since it's a primary key, it should not have null values. All right, back to what we're doing. So I don't want last name to be showing on my table. I want it to show as surname. So I'm going to say as surname. Okay, now if I run this, notice initially we had last name here, but now what I have here is surname. Are we good? So that's what aliasing is. That's what aliasing is, giving another name to a variable, or whether created or original, based on what you want. For example, and take note that SQL Server doesn't allow you to give spaces in your variable names. So for instance, if I wanted this to be first name, now I'm intentionally doing this so that we'll make mistakes. Like I always tell people, it's better to make a mistake than for it to work when it's not correct. Okay, and aside from that, you learn a lot from your mistakes. You learn to face your fear. So if I run this, there's no need for me to run it. You can already see that it's already flagging an error for me. It's already flagging an error everywhere. It's a bit unfortunate though that sometimes these red lines may make it difficult for you to pick out exactly where the errors are coming from, but you will learn by dealing with the errors. Okay, so let me just execute this and let's see what it gives us. It says incorrect syntax near name, and the reason is because of this space that is here. Okay, so if for any reason you need to have a space, around the variable name you're creating, you have to put it in a square bracket like this. So if I do this now, you can see that first name is working properly. Are we good? So that's that. So let's say I have that as first name. Let me make this small caps. Also, if maybe I want to change something like date of birth date to date of birth, DOB, okay? Aside from using the as, I can do it directly by just saying DOB. So you can see birth date is now DOB. So you can add the as for the sake of presentation, for whoever is using it to be able to understand, especially if the person is not too conversant with SQL. But otherwise, you can skip the as and just go ahead to alias it with whatever you want to do. So you can now see that I have made my hire date, my date of birth as DOB, okay, which is fair enough. Now, we can also do what we call concatenating. So this was for aliasing. So I want to do for concatenating now. So concatenating is the process of adding multiple variables together. So let me just copy this. Is the process of joining multiple variables together. Variables, please. Joining multiple variables together. That's the process of concatenating. So if, for example, I don't want first name and last name to be separate, I want them to be together as full name. I want first name and last name together as full name. Okay, I would concatenate. So the simple process of concatenating is simply addition, right? Addition. So for a text string, for a text variable, it's simply going to concatenate because you're adding them together. So if I do this, you can now see Guy Gilbert, Kevin Brown, and so on and so forth. Now, the proper way you would do this now is by adding a space between them. So I'm just going gradually. So I have first name plus, but I want a space to exist between them, and then plus last name. Okay, and also I will now alias this as full name, as full name. So if I do this, I now have spaces in between and everything as I would want it. So everything looks okay, right? Everything looks okay. So this is how you can concatenate. So if you want to join multiple items together, you just simply use the plus sign. Now take note, concatenation is for string text, okay, string variables. If you were to use plus for a numerical variable, it's going to do the addition. It's going to do addition for you. Subsequent videos, we're going to see how that works out. All right, but this is how you concatenate and join different items together. So in the next video, I'm going to begin to show us how do we sort our data in different orders or in the order that we want. See you there.